Hi there, Pyrat Prepper here. It's been a long time. Yeah, well, life happens, and when things happen, you got to look at your life and what's going on, and reevaluate what you're doing. And sometimes you get back to things, sometimes you let them drop. Well, after some internal discussion and soul searching, as it were, a slight change in direction of the channel, not much really, but some things may more be alluded to than before. But I digress. Welcome back. So, watched an interesting video by a YouTuber called Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen. There's a hyphen between the last two words. Put out today. Phenomenal video, very dry, very dry, unfortunately. But the information is dry, and the information on his website is kind of scary if you really dive into it. So if you get a chance, check that out. Not going to link in the description or anything like that because I'm not tech savvy. But it's been an interesting 6 months or so. Really has. A lot of changes in the world, a lot of changes for the good and bad. On the American gun rights scene, we're winning a lot of different court cases, which means the anti-gunners are putting out a whole bunch of new and illegal potential laws that are against the stuff that they just lost. Imagine that. So, something to kind of look at there if you're into that sort of thing. The politics are not being spoken of. Let me rephrase that. They're saying the quiet things out loud now. And a lot of the laws and rules and regulations they're trying to impose are more an imposition of will than anything that's actually going to help anybody. If you look at some of the bills and such that have been put before Mr. Biden recently, you can see a lot of harm for your general public, but a lot of profit for the very few. And those rules are going to potentially be imposed to just whittle away one of those death of a thousand cuts for this great nation. And I'm not saying we need to do anything on a national level. Remember, the motto here is do something. But I think as a people, I think as a group, we need to not follow unconstitutional laws. I think we need to, in our own personal lives, ignore certain things. And if it's going to catch you a felony, I would advise against it, of course. But if they're going to impose a rule that says, say, for example, all firearms trades have to go through a dealer as of January 1st, 2025, well, make as many trades as you can privately before that date. Just a thought. People don't know what you have unless you let them know. If you purchased a firearm in the last let's see, what, 1968, a few years. There's a record somewhere if you bought it from a dealer. If private purchases are illegal, guess what? There's no record of that transaction outside of the people involved. And you don't have to tell anybody. Just saying. Not advocating anything illegal. But something to think about. Taking a look at the rest of the world. Things are ramping up other places. Things are getting weird or dangerous or downright strange. And this is a time, I think, that we as a people, we as a collective need to step back a little and take stock of what we need on an individual, on a family basis, as opposed to worrying about the Ukraine, worrying about any other place that we don't live. We can't stop our government from giving away billions and trillions of dollars to line their own pockets, media kickbacks and graft. Because they're already in place. They're already there. It's an established method. What can we do at our level? Get ready for the rough times. We can get ready for what we are going to experience. If that means putting back an extra 50 pounds, 100 pounds of rice, some beans, adult vitamins, and those items that we know we use, those consumables that we use every day. Do you use coffee? Do you use coffee filters? Do you use toilet paper? Those are consumables. And while some people can get away and live without coffee, others can't. So you should look at that and various ways of sustaining that habit. When there is limited availability, brand selection, and the cost has gone through the roof. I know how much our grocery shopping has gone up in the last couple of years. And with artificial and intentional shortages, as well as weather-related incidents and problems, I don't think there's a person out there who isn't influential, who has not felt that sting at the grocery store. Watching a $120 bill hit $225, $250. Sorry, not doing a euro conversion. But it's crazy how little you can come home with dropping a $100 bill. And if the economists are right, and if, I loosely use the word experts, but if the experts are correct, it's going nowhere but up. And that's for the staples, let alone the niceties, the treats. So I would start buying and stocking up on things that you know you're going to use, that you know you're going to want in need, and plan for a longer haul. Plan for helping yourself out at the store for a couple of years, potentially. The last depression in the U.S., we really, named depression, we really had was a decade. It was only stopped by World War II. And if you look at the economics of today, we've already surpassed, in a lot of respects, the economic hardships of the time. Those hardships, which changed this country, changed where people lived, changed what they did. And for whatever reason, we're not feeling that effect or responding to that situation the way they did way back when. And we can look at this from the standpoint of denial and say it's not happening or it's not that bad. And if you want to argue it elsewhere. But realize what is happening. Take a look and really take a moment to be realistic with yourself and not sugarcoat the situation, the harshness of what is potentially going to happen. We can't be sure. We don't know 100%. I do know economically, percentage-wise, what more we're paying for the same or less services now, as opposed to 4 years ago. And if percentage-wise things don't change, there's a lot of people who have been struggling, credit cards and pay, and just to do the basics, just to keep up. And if things continue to get worse, they're not going to be able to keep up. More and more people are going to go underwater. More and more people are going to resort to crime and violence just to make ends meet. And this is historical. We've seen this happen over and over again. So, take a look, plan ahead, figure things out, what you need for an extended period of time, and start putting stuff away. Be the squirrel, be the limerat, stocking away his acorns for next year and the year beyond that, or more. Things are still reasonably cheap, depending on how you look at it. But if you watch the investors and watch the money men in DC and across our fair country, look what they're investing in and divesting themselves from. And there is definitely something happening. They're making sure that they're not going to get hurt, which one would expect. But there's a speed to which they're doing it is somewhat disturbing. In some respects, they're racing the clock to save their money. They're the ones who don't notice when the grocery bill doubles or triples. They don't worry about it. They lose 30%, 40% of their net worth or pay or whatever. They don't notice it. Whereas if you're scraping by every month, you'll notice it. Anyway. I didn't originally intend this to be so dry, boring, and long, actually. A lot longer than I expected to go. This ramble today. But it's been a while since I posted, and I will continue to post, trying to get back into the groove, as it were. And hopefully I still have a few listeners and watchers out there and who are motivated to do something. But we've had some wins, we've got some losses. Just depends which direction you're looking at, and take the wins where you can get them. All right, let's see. Final thoughts, final words. Stay armed where you can. Watch out for the bad guys. Get some food put back. Get some money put back. And pay off your debts as quickly as you can, because that puts more money back in your pocket, not paying interest at 20 to 30% right now. So, all right. Good luck. Pyrat Prepper out.